came, like I couldn't believe that we have the Easy Pot in hand. I really didn't think. I ordered these February 11th, and they arrived sometime in like late April. Also, these are the China ones. I opened the bag and they just whiff like gross plastic.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So they come in. Tiff got some too.
Chemicals.
Yeah, they definitely smell the 20.
They're very chemically.
Yeah, I pulled this out so chemically. Oh, what? Oh.
You know what you should do? You should put Scotch Guard on them just to make sure they're proper if you ever wear them outside.
It's probably not a bad idea, right?
I would do
Yeah,
that.
what does that do?
Scotch Guard is like something you put on your couch or like your winter coat or like really heavy boots, and like it's extra waterproof layer from like an aerosol.
Ooh, good idea.
Yeah, I have some of that shit. It's tight.
Okay. So you probably do these, but it's like a stretchy sock-like material. They're just like two pieces of pads at the bottom, top and bottom.
No
gap
arch
in
support.
There is actually. I was looking then. Well, there's zero arch support.
You can feel
there
it.
is like an insole there. I didn't realize.
I did hear Joe Budden saying that they were like very comfortable
Like
and
house
like he actually feels very supported and all this stuff. He could be like capping, but he's
he could be okay.
Yeah. Or caping.
Caping and capping. That could be the other episode. So this is they're pretty sweet. Both of them only wore it in the house after we picked it up, and
does look.
I
very
will wear. They're pretty comfy. I think you need like sort of black pants. Oh, is that like a pull? No. It's like the stitching just looks cheap and nasty. Once again, $20. I don't give a fuck. So he's doing what needs to be done for 20. Personally, I would have preferred higher quality and pay $100 or something. But I also understand what he's getting at. But I don't know. I'm glad I got. I got this the long sleeve Vultures merch as well with that's got the song titles. Can I turn on the back? Yeah.
Oh, cool. It's like a concert T-shirt almost.
It's like a concert T-shirt. Exactly. And it's got like the neck is mad weird. Like, can you hang on? You see the neck?
Need to get some more traps, buddy.
I know. I'm working on it. Don't worry. I used to have them.
Yeah, that's true.
Used to be massive,
dude.
Oh, not no more. We'll work on it. But it looks like someone got it and just cut a little slit with the scissors and opened the neck. So it's like mad weird. And like there's no like rib on the edge of the arm.
It's like a weightlifter's
top. Bottom. Kind of. I know what you're talking about. It's that vibe. But I don't know. I like this. You wear it like with something a bit longer that's like black underneath it. And it looks pretty sick. I rocked this out. And I got the I didn't bring it down, I forgot, but I got the T-shirt. The T-shirt's a lot weirder because the sleeves kind of just go like out.
Really wide. Like you need shoulder pads, like 80s style.
Yeah, but they don't even go down to cover those shoulder pads. Like you'd see the shoulder pads. That's how. So I think you also need to wear a T-shirt underneath that.
Right.
Or like you said, you wear into gym, which is cool. What's that thing I got? Oh yeah, exactly. And I got the pants, and the pants are cool. They don't have pockets, which is a bit strange because mans like to keep things. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
But they seem comfy, and you can tuck because they're like the black Vultures ones I got. You can tuck them into the pods, and that's when it kind of looks cool. Like the photo I showed you all of the. Well, I didn't send it to you, babe, but I sent to Notion and Dan. It was like, it's pretty cool. They're comfy. So
you came downstairs. I saw it.
I did. I showed it to you. Sorry. Yeah. So that drip. So overall, I'm not complaining. I think the whole lot. We got 5 items, so $100 US and minimal shipping because we sent it to our American address. So
it's a win.
It's a win. It's easy, gang. And the fucking vibes. And today, if you didn't notice already, Dan is in Mexico, and we have Tiffany in the building.
Hey.
So this is like a different applause because the other applause.
It is a different applause, yeah.
We are using new software. This is testing new software. The last software where, you might have seen the delays that were happening with Notion. We were fucking pissed. So we switched it out. So testing that out. But yes, so we talk about Tiff all the time on the pod. But Tiff, you said earlier, I swear you'd been on in the past.
I don't think I have, unless you remember Brad and I don't. I don't.
First time I don't remember you popping in.
Notion. That's
excuse me. I don't identify by Brad. Thank you. Man's called me Nosh Dog, aka Notion.
My brother-in-law, so we are family. So I have a real government names for him. Okay?
Yeah. Because I'm a real person after all. But I'll forgive you.
Well, that is true. So
but yes, it's my debut. It's my bad debut. Thank you. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I felt like therefore, I've been talking about you being on the pod. 163 episodes, and you never had. I really, really thought you had, so my bad. But I'm very happy that you are here. And today, and now look, guys, so what's happening? Let's be honest here. The last week, we're talking about the beef again, right? We're not, we
have to wrap up the commentary on it. There's lots happening.
Yeah.
There's so much happening. But the very first question last episode, 162, if y'all are watching, we asked, place your biases. Before we review all the song, let's talk about our biases. And we all three of us said, where we stand as Drake fandom and Kendrick fans and all that type of stuff. Dan said that he has a preference on who is to win the battle, but not a bias.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Then proceeding, over the pod, I feel like we're all a little more, what's the word? Like, not Switzerland, but we're a little more like reasonable and logical on the pod, whereas over text we're a little hyperbolic and like, Kendrick dropped, he fucking slayed, Drake is done.
Everything's in capitals and emojis and fires. And
Exactly right. So with that, we were like, Tiff and I were chatting the other day and she came up with the title, let her tell you what we're talking about. But we were like, this is going to be a pretty good opportunity to talk about this stuff without Dan here, because I don't know how well he would take it, pause, if we were to talk about Drake in the way we're about to talk about him. And look, we're just telling what happened on the internet, what people on the net are saying. We didn't make any of this shit up. We'll probably have some inferences and some theories ourselves, but...
You're out of focus, see?
I'm out of focus? Oh, I probably got to tap on the camera. Thank you, mate. There you go. I need to tap. There we go. I should be looking up there. So anyway, Tiff, do you want to tell everyone what we're going to be talking about today? And I just want to set it up that we're doing it. Okay. We're doing this episode with you because you can be more objective as a fan of both artists.
I love that. Should we call this episode Sorry, Dan?
Wow. Sorry, Dan.
Sorry, Dan. Okay, so the topic and the reason that I am a part of this episode is because obviously, I've very much been invested in this beef. It's the most incredible roller coaster that, I've gotten to be a part of, I would say, in the rap world since at least even Pusha T and Drake was not this extensive. So it's completely different. Obviously, this is even outside of hip hop, it became mainstream. So there's one part of the line, and it's the one thing that I kept revisiting, and this is why we want to talk about it. So one, I'm going to share some notes and updates already in general, just as what has happened since obviously I listened to the pod, so I know what you all talked about the last time.
She actually does. I hear her listening to it.
Yeah. You went all the way through it's actually perfect because, we got to the end of it, right? There's no new music that has come out and no tracks or anything. Right. But Kendrick Lamar said something very specific, and it always sticks in my head, which is, you must be a terrible person. Specifically, he said, you must be a terrible person. Everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve it. And that's what we'll investigate today. We'll look into this to see, is Drake potentially a terrible person? So I'll be presenting some objective information for you all to consider and for us to just discuss, outside of Dan being here because he can't be objective, so we can all discuss. But I want to state my bias, which is I have been a Drake fan for a very long time. So I have loved Drake since So Far Gone, I'll say. So it's been a long journey. So I am a Drake fan, and I've listened to Drake way more than I ever listened to Kendrick Lamar. This is the first time I'm really even taking in Kendrick. So I listen to just his pop songs and the hits or something like that, but I don't really dive deep into Kendrick. So technically I'm a Drake fan, but one thing I pride myself on is objectivity in all circumstances. So there you go. Yeah.
I love it. On top of that, you're from Toronto. So there's a level of Toronto pride that even you are putting aside to be that objective, which is admirable.
I was literally in a meeting today, and because it came up, and I was like, listen, even as someone from Toronto, I'll tell you, Kendrick killed that. But I want to talk about I don't know how we'll go about this, but I know we'll do some recap since the last pod. But I know, I said Kendrick won that. I just said it right now. But I think we can all agree since the last time you were all together that Kendrick is declared the winner, has taken the dub.
I don't even think there's any world in which Drake could win as it stands with the songs that were released. And more importantly, and that's what this is about, the cultural impact specifically of Not Like Us and BBL Drizzy, which last time we didn't talk, we kind of skipped over it.
Yeah.
BBL Drizzy, the contest. So that's the song. Basically, both of those songs. Maybe I'll set it off with this, Tiff, and then you can take it from there. And I'll be screen sharing stuff. The earworms that became Not Like Us and BBL Drizzy. Every single day, we're all texting each other. Like, I just can't get it out of my head. You don't even need to say what it is because we all know what we're talking about. Everyone on Twitter is talking about it. Everywhere I go, online, Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, everyone's talking about it. And the BBL Drizzy thing that I neglected to mention last time that I was kicking myself for was the most genius marketing out of this whole thing was Metro taking an AI track that this comedian made, which was phenomenal.
Yes.
And made it into the soul beat of the fucking decade.
Hands down.
Nothing comes near
the decade, you tell me. Because I was thinking, I was going to say song of the year. Don't even fucking tell me anything else. It's like it's gone
soul beat of the decade. I don't know if there's a better one.
Decade, dude. It's definitely one of the funniest things to ever happen in hip hop. Like how, as a producer that is not an artist, absolutely wrecked a rapping singer motherfucker. Like unbelievable, dude. I was on the trails on Sunday in the mountain bike, gone on my ride with the boys. Half of those cunts don't even listen to hip hop like we do or like that. And I was just like, BBL Drizzy. And then they would just go, and they're like, there's other people I wasn't even, didn't even know who they are. They would laugh as well. And it's like, people know, dude. The mountain bike community, like, it's half hip hop, half rock. It's or
I like skaters.
Right. Very much. But even people in the forest knew, dude. So it's spreading far and wide. You know what I mean?
When cunts in the forest know BBL Drizzy.
Dude,
then you know it's real.
Yeah.
But I think that's fucking incredible. And the thing I just wanted to touch on here was the contest that Metro put out on Twitter.
That's a big diss.
He was offering, think about this, like what you just said. A producer made a diss beat with no lyrics of any other human. Instrumental, I'm sorry.
No, instrumental.
Instrumental.
Wow.
Yeah,
which is a new genre, I guess.
Yeah.
He made a contest getting every up-and-coming rapper or wannabe rapper or struggle rapper, whatever you want to call it, to do a verse to the beat, and then whoever won a free beat from Metro. Then he leveled it up and offered $10K plus a free beat to the winner and a free beat to the runner-up.
Sorry, what?
You are getting the thousands of rappers to diss someone they've never met.
Yeah.
Over a beat.
No one's ever had that many diss tracks against them.
It is, dude, the level of energy, of negative energy coming at Drake is insane.
Yeah. I do feel bad.
I feel bad.
Karma's a bitch, eh? He must have some.
Does that come back to the topic of this episode?
I think it does.
Drake, a terrible person.
Is his karma building up and coming back and just smacking him on the batty, bro?
How else could this all happen without being a terrible person? Like, have either of I feel like I don't fuck people over. I haven't willingly fucked anybody over that I can ever remember or think of. And I don't have enemies. I don't have people trying to get this and stuff. So I'm like, usually when we talk about this, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you can, today we're going to go through a bunch of these potentially reasons that Drake may be actually a terrible person to have this many. He's got A-list rappers going at him for weeks. Like, that's so insane to have that many. Like, you got to be a fair shit cunt for that to happen.
Has to be.
So with that, that was just the intro. So Tiff has prepared a whole bunch of phenomenal notes here, which should be a blog post. I should even post this on TMF. And I'll be sharing stuff as we need to bring it up. So I'll let you guide it, and then we can react and go from here.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for having me here as the Kendrick Drake correspondent for the beef.
The official beef correspondent.
So yes, I would love to. I think, as we said, Kendrick declared winner by the culture. So there is this thing where, with the Drake stands with peace and love, fighting tooth and nail, but officially we can say declared by the culture. Drake lost. Kendrick took the dub on that one, and also declared by media. Like if you go to Wikipedia articles, even
Yep.
in the article, it'll say like, and then like Rolling Stones, like all these publishers, and it'll be like, Drake won, like Kendrick won this, and they just say it so like casually, which I thought was very interesting, even too, that even like that's written in media. But outside of that, outside of the culture, just declaring it. If you would like to open the first link there, that I
sure can. Yeah.
We want to talk about numbers and impact, because I think that already says it. So even if for some reason, like say a Dan, again with peace and love, sorry Dan.
Love you, Dan.
Love you, Dan.
If you wanted to say like, nah man, like Drake killed this, he's still killing it. Numbers don't lie. That's what numbers are there for. They tell us what the truth is, and it's no opinion can be there. He like destroyed the accolades here. So like Not Like Us became the fastest rap song ever to surpass 100 million streams on Spotify in 9 days, dethroning God's Plan. Remember when God's Plan was everything?
Oh yeah.
He was number 1 on Apple Music, which is ridiculous. And it's actually like he dethroned himself. So Not Like Us dethroned Euphoria. Do you know what I mean? It broke the record for most streams ever in a single week.
Wow.
It was Billboard. Yesterday it was declared Billboard Top 100. Hot 100.
Number 1.
And I also saw that it was in the top 10 in the world. So not even just the Hot 100, but just in the world in general.
Even beating all the Spanish music that's constantly at number 1.
Even though we don't know. It's like Taylor, like some Spanish stuff that we don't know, probably like international stuff, and like Taylor Swift. And then
like Anita, shit like that. That woman is on everything, but we don't know her in North America because she doesn't get marketed here.
Exactly. Right. It's so pretty, and like they have a really strong stronghold. Like like the Spanish demo, like they kill it. All their
crazy,
the top one: Selena Gomez, Messi, all those guys. But
nice.
It also, what else happened? Received 12.2 million stream in its 4th day. It's just nonstop, and especially because Drake puts a lot of emphasis on numbers. So this is proof, right? The people have spoken. He smashed that.
Yeah, so incredible.
The numbers don't lie. You can't deny he was playing in South Africa. I saw people saying on Reddit, because I've just been in Kendrick Lamar's Reddit. It's really funny. There's like the Kendrick Lamar Reddit, which went into like crazy rabbit holes, which we'll talk about in a second. There's a Drake one where they're trying so hard to try to think of all these ways to make it so that Kendrick didn't win. Like, but he lied, blah, blah, whatever, all of this stuff. And then the J. Cole one is just like, hey, y'all, do you like rabbits? Like, it's just saying how, like, J. Cole has removed himself. That
he's just doing nothing now. He's
just like chilling and doing stuff. Watching anime and stuff and chilling. But yeah, this is like, They Not Like Us in Cape Town. I saw them in Sydney, Australia. Someone saying that they're all throwing up West Coast gang signs. Like,
I love that.
What's going on? And crip walking in Sydney, Australia. They're doing
dance music.
Cycling to BBL Drizzy.
Come on.
There's a bride and groom that came out to their wedding.
No.
BBL Drizzy. They changed it to their wedding.
At the wedding, though?
And then in the reception, they were like also dancing.
At the reception, cool, but not on the actual, in the thing.
Honestly,
come on.
For lols.
For the lols, maybe for, I guess. Depending if it's a young crowd, that would have worked. Nicely.
Yeah. I would totally walk out to BBL Drizzy in my wedding.
Because grandma ain't hitting. Do you reckon grandmas are banging out to BBL Drizzy at the homes?
I think exactly.
Yes.
Do you reckon they are?
Yes.
I think
they
are.
I think they know. It's a vibe. It's just a vibe.
If they heard it.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
I recognize the sample.
LeBron.
Sounds like
LeBron even. Yes. And LeBron, who's like supposed to be a Drake homie and good friend, also dancing to Not Like Us, because you can't help yourself.
It's a good beat, actually.
It's fire. So I think in the end, it's like the culture spoke, the media spoke, and it's fair to say that we can end this as Kendrick having won. Yes. And another notes that I thought was interesting is just like Kendrick never spoke once in all of this. It was all music. Never tweeted. Never, just nothing. It's just literally music came out and we're like, fuck. And that's it. And I think that's something very special too. So no cryptic memes and stories, even though I love Drake trolling. I think when he trolls and him being petty king is always the best, but I feel like I don't know if he's caught off guard or what happened here, but there is a strategy, which I also would love to hear from you guys on your thoughts, because I think the music is one thing, But there's something in this strategy here that made it, I think, more impactful in terms of what Kendrick did that also made him the winner. And I want to know if you all feel that or think anything of that side of it. So it's like music, even just like say bars aside, like that he played a better game in this is the vibe that I see. Like I feel like it's a combination of a bunch of things. But
yeah, I reckon Kendrick's angle of like piece by piece taking Drake apart as a man and as a father and like all those subdivisions, that was the, like he was boxing with knives coming out or like nails coming out of his boxing gloves, and he really fucked him up with that one. I think it was like the more of a demoralizing song because the beat was so sinister, which I believe was an Alchemist beat, and he's the king of dark shit. So good fit for the production, but I think like the attack at Drake as a man is like the hardest thing. It's kind of it reminded me of, which we've talked about before. See, our friend 360 from Australia. He's an artist and a battle MC from the yesteryear, and he was famous against, was it Cursor? And he actually ended up reading Keynote. Sorry, and he ended up reading. Basically, it wasn't even a rhyming thing, but he wrote an actual letter to this guy and attacked him in every single way. And Kendrick has done that and made multiple verses of it and made it so like fucking perfect. But yeah, I felt like that. It reminded me of the personal direct attack to him like that. So it was a very different approach rather than fuck your bitch and you click your clan like a Tupac thing or like it's any of the crazy like regular I'm gonna kill you rap battles. It was more of a like you're a piece of shit, dude, and here's why.
I agree with that, and I think it's also authentic to Kendrick. If you think about, he's never on social yap, and he's never aggressive. Like subtweeting, and like posting stories. Like Drake behaves like a baddie on social. He's out here.
He's very
like he's posting like all these pictures of himself.
He's an
like
Kendrick
just I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but
Drake was authentic to himself in this too, so I'm not mad at that. Yeah, I'm just saying that Kendrick was super authentic, and something about this, what you said, Nosh, the savageness of what he said in that deeply personal thing, because this is fucking hatred, bro.
And the delivery of Kendrick's super impressive. He's not like, he's like, and you're a terrible person, and you can, it's like, and you can't even, you're not a good father, and you possibly got, heaps of baby mama kids out there, you're a cunt, mate. So yeah, it's the delivery for me, the beat choice, that whole juxtaposition of a regular battle track which are usually high energy, faster tempos, all that bullshit. But yeah, he really, dude, it's so spooky, haunting. It's so deliberate and calculated. It's very, no wonder he won a Pulitzer Prize, dude. It's got so much behind it. I don't know, the dude's out of control. That sort of hits different and deeper than other battle tracks.
Pause. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's exactly the same feeling I have. It's what you said. It's like punching with nails, and it's also and punching with nails. It's also kind of almost like death by 1,000 cuts or something, because it's like
slow,
worse and worse and worse, and then again attacking someone's character. And that's why I think the part where it was like everything, but in the end, like this is a lifelong battle with yourself. Like that's just like cut me down. Like
I hope Drake doesn't listen to that too many times. It might actually fuck him up.
Because I like him and I feel bad. I actually feel bad. Like outside of like dancing and listening to Not Like Us every single day, it took like 9 days for BBL Drizzy and those two songs. I was literally waking up. And BBL Drizzy was in my head.
Still doing it.
Yesterday was the first day where I was like, oh my gosh.
Thank God.
We'll see what happens. But I think he won in every way. So just like cutting down your opponent, it must be like the art of war, really. Like knowing your opponent is so important too. And he did really well at that. Every song pierced through the membrane in like a special way. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then he ended up making a bunch. It's like he won because he also made a bunch of fans. Like I've seen people who were like, "Oh, I never listened to his music," and then I was just like, "Wow, this guy's really talented." By just listening to tear someone else down, everyone's like, "Wow, he's really talented." And we go back and listen to his other music, and then it's making his catalogs and everything just stretch down.
We listened to his whole shit
up,
for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and his dollars are going up because he got how many records, and then I do most of my listening on YouTube, and I think he has like 20 million views on just that one video, and it was in like 24 hours. It's probably shitloads more now, but it's incredible the amount of attention he's getting, and in his back end must be huge. Yeah, is his revenue streams, his residual,
and he's independent now. So particularly all of the diss songs, Euphoria was his first release as an independent with a distro deal with Interscope.
I just love how he's bragging about how he's remote on islands, is chilling. Look how mysterious he is. He's very similar to Black Thought. He's very he comes out on Black Thought's on fucking TV every night, but it's a little bit different, but music-wise, separate.
I know what you mean.
TV show, but yeah, the mysterious the mystique that he has, he's barely even in the spotlight. I love that dude.
What did he say? He said something about "I like peace." Whatever the line was, like I'm sorry, I'm not out here. Like I like peace. You like
to be famous.
Yeah, I'm like that's
exactly the artists that we are, kind of thing. It's like, I want to be well known and respected for my art, but I don't want to be able to not walk down the street and go get a burger with my mates and shit and cunts take blah blah blah. Like fuck that. So that was never our intention to get like famous like that. We just want to do music independently full time.
Yes,
that's
a prison.
It's exactly right. So I'm only glad we didn't get to that fucking psycho stage, but we wouldn't have really let that happen. But anyway, that's a crazy one.
It is. Continue, please, babe.
Okay, so that was the why Kendrick won, basically, and I think we're clear that he won. The next thing I want to talk about in terms of, so basically I've separated some Kendrick W's and then Drake L's. The Drake L's are very long, so I'll just start going through them. You all can let me know what you think.
There's a lot.
A lot of the time here, the reason I put this in there is something that Drake used against Kendrick often was that he doesn't show up for his community and he's basically calling him a fraud while simultaneously saying that he raps like he's trying to free the slaves. It's very interesting in a way how Drake kept countering. He kept fulfilling. It's like he wasn't hearing what Kendrick was saying every time. Yeah. Which is so bizarre. So, where he's saying you're a colonizer and he's like, you look like you're trying to free the slaves every time he's saying or something like things like this, where it's like, this is what he's saying about you. And you keep reiterating him. Or when he calls him a master manipulator and liar and you're like, I planted evidence. It's like you keep fulfilling the things that Kendrick says about you, which I thought was very interesting. That's why I feel like it's like a loss in a weird way in terms of your character. It's very straight. It's very different. Mm. But one thing he mentioned was the community members, that he didn't reach out to them. So specifically, people all last week started coming out and sharing like clips and things like that Kendrick has done. So there was like a Compton rapper named Hida J3 where he praised Kendrick for his contributions to the community, including paying for people's funerals, supporting local youth, buying sports equipment. I actually saw another interview that he had where the reporter was sitting and talking to him, and then he's like, oh, is that why you gave funding to X school? And Kendrick was like, how'd you find out about that? And the guy's like, oh, I'm a journalist. It's my job. And he's like, yeah, I just didn't want a lot of flash around it. Like, I just do the things. It's not to do it to promote it, So it's like already showing generally the type of person he is. And he also buys shoes, again, more equipment, shoes, even while on tour for local basketball teams too. These are just some things that he does. So again, it's Drake lying again, where Kendrick just doesn't vocally throw it out there of all the things he's doing. And I've seen people I know on Twitter, which annoys me because I'm like, you could just research this easily, but retweeting things being like, Kendrick doesn't do nothing for nobody. He does nothing for the community. And I just don't care about Kendrick, so I was never really paying attention, but you could just Google it and you would easily find the information. So this is something that people really should emphasize and try to do more often, is just like Google the thing when it comes your way. Another thing that was very interesting that came up. So Drake, in the end, they're all paying for info. Over the weekend, this gentleman who is a songwriter and artist in his own right named Cooley Bravo said that he took the $150K from Drake and then gave them the fake information about Kendrick and his wife, which is very interesting.
Damn.
So he said, like, of course, why not? Take the money. It's easy. He's like, they know me. They know that I'm like in with them. And I was like, why not just take the money? So I just lied and I fed them fake information. So I thought,
do you believe that?
So this is interesting, and I don't know what you all believe, but he said that he convinced Drake's team to just pay for fabricated information. Specifically, they were looking for Whitney, so they gave information about Whitney. I don't know what's going, because Kendrick's so private, which I love, and this is great for everybody, that everyone can take this type of approach to life, like you all were just saying too, is like people shouldn't know what is going on in your life. So in the end, if they're separated, he clearly, when we listen to Mr. Morale, again, only listened to it once, didn't pay attention. Now I'm paying attention because it sounded like Drake was literally just rapping back Mr. Morale at Kendrick in the end. Because Kendrick specifically said, Whitney will leave me. I won't be surprised. I have this generational trauma that carries over into my relationships in my life. Like, he basically outlined that he did not think, he would not be surprised if that relationship didn't survive. And then, so to rap back at somebody and be like, you guys are broken up and she doesn't love you and you hit her or whatever, and without any evidence, it's possible. The guy was a little, very bravado-y. That's the only thing. Like, we listened to the Discord. It was like an hour and a half Discord. And he was very much like, I'm really popular. So when anyone starts saying stuff like that, I'm like, okay. Like, I'm very popular. So people come to me about whatever. I didn't even see him, but I imagine him pushing
ego
his shoulders
shit.
up and doing the, because he just kept saying, like, I'm popular. People
He bought
know
the
me.
building.
Oh, it's very building energy. But I guess it would be verifiable. And he said, I took 150K. It was out there for 100. I negotiated my way up to 150 and I gave that information. And the only thing that I've ever seen about Whitney was her in Kendrick's condo that they both apparently share together with their children.
Yeah.
So it would be likely that they are together. And she's just like Kendrick and she doesn't go online and talk on the internet about her life.
Lovely.
Yeah. It was, I think that we got about halfway through it, 3/4 of the way through it. And then the video said like, claims denied or something like that. But I don't know. I think because he was making a lot of crazy claims.
He's saying a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Some of it, like now, because we kept in the last episode, we're going back whenever someone was saying stuff, we kept really like going out, like if there's no proof, then it's hearsay essentially, which was most of the things, but then we're kind of proving a lot of these things maybe with Drake are more likely to be true because there's a whole bunch of stuff that's come up, but nothing that's come up on Kendrick. So maybe this guy, some of the stuff he said was true, maybe some of it wasn't, but it was interesting. And it's at the very least, it's plausible.
Yeah. This is why I'm not repeating anything else except for him saying I
took the money,
got paid to do this.
Yeah, he did say a lot of other stuff, but
about the shooting at Drake's house, all of that, which you all wouldn't have talked about.
Guess we haven't. Yeah, so there was a shooting. You know what? I see it on the list. We'll get to
near his house, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We can touch on it when we get there.
Okay, so another Drake L scammed out of 150K allegedly.
He's a big gambler, so it's nothing to him. He makes bets more than that, dude.
Literally, yeah. I've seen him with on
silly rabbit.
Post those screenshots, yeah.
Price is so low in the end, but I guess 150K can trade someone else's life, so fair.
That's very true.
Another Drake L, endless unveilings about his relationship and interests in young girls, and this is a huge one, and this is the biggest, say, disappointment across the board, because like that's where I think all standum should end if you're a groomer or you're a weirdo being disgusting and talking to girls, and we'll talk about that more in a second when we get into is Drake a terrible person, because these are only L's that we're discussing in relation to the beef, but there are a lot of things that have come out where it's like we don't need Kendrick to prove it because the girls are telling us themselves.
There's videos and screenshots.
They're not thinking anything of it because they're young girls and they're dumb, which is like when I was younger, there are only things in hindsight at like in my 30s where I was like, like that actually wasn't cool or that was weird that this person did certain things. So that's a huge problem.
Yes.
And then the next one, and the other L is like, after all of this, then he put out the Heart Part 6, and then like someone shoots at his house. And it's just like, this guy's just like copping weird stuff and people trying to break into his house. He lives in, and maybe you can break down the shooting part, C. But
that must be weird for you to say that.
Yeah. But I felt like his neighbors must be furious because, like I've taken Dan to where he lives and stuff like that. He lives close to my mom's house. And like, it's just not the type of area to be having these like shenanigans going on.
They ain't having it over there.
His neighbors must be like, you see what happened? We let this,
hard
you know what they're saying. We let you know what they're saying. We know those neighbors. Like we let this hard R into the neighborhood, and look what's happening. We should have left them in Driftwood. I know what they're saying. Anyways, continue on.
From what I understand of the shoot, just to touch on it very briefly, if I'm not mistaken, there's 3 incidents at his house. One was a shooting of his security guard who when like the time you talk about, we pulled up, we'd been there before and done a drive-by, but when Dan moved to Canada, we took him by. We even dropped Dan off on the street and he was wanting to walk in front of it, and the security guy was walk on the other side of the street.
Yeah. They were good.
It was very funny. Yeah, they were on point. And so whoever's out the front got shot, and they believe it's from an EXO, like to do with The Weeknd and Cash, those other dudes. Like it's an EXO dude who was responsible for that, because there was also either a break-in or a shooting at Cash's house in LA. Cash is The Weeknd's manager, something like that. Then there was, if I'm not mistaken, without trying to look it up now, but there was 2 different attempts at getting in. Like someone had got past the fence and got in. So I don't know if these are crazed fans, if they're more EXO people. They haven't really announced it. Drake posted on Instagram something to CP24, which is a news station here in Canada or Toronto or whatever, and saying, hey, like, I'd like to discuss how often the helicopters are flying over my house. I'd like to get some sleep. If you could, give me a call at 3 p.m., that'd be great. It was pretty funny. But like, he's being bothered a lot by it. There's a lot happening. The neighbors must be annoyed, because if he's trying to sleep and there's helicopters nonstop, then the neighbors are pissed. The cops fucking like crime taped off the street. So like, they're really making it pretty unpleasant for these multi-millionaires, which, the people can look at it and laugh. But if you just want to think of it as a neighbor, that's pretty annoying.
Yeah,
because you didn't sign up for that. You didn't ask for that. But anyway, those are the main things that we know without going into crazy detail. And that's fucked up, by the way. Like, we saw what happened in the 90s with Pac and Big. Do we?
No.
The only other rap beefs that have resulted in deaths, absolutely not, were probably the Chicago cats. King Von, that FBG Duck dude, all of that shit. Those dudes were wilding. The Chicago O-Block guys are out of control. So that's sort of expected, because it's gang shit, like real true to life gang shit. Just they also happen to rap. Drake is a pop star. Kendrick arguably is a pop star too. And then the EXO dudes are all pop stars, yet they're shooting and trying to break in. Like, they kind of got to chill a little bit, because it could turn out really bad. I don't think anybody wants that. But anyway, fucked up.
Yeah.
Very fucked
On
up.
your
Duffers.
All right. And then the big one. All right. So you ready for this one?
This is intense, and I still haven't got a head around it.
And you haven't read it. If you would care to.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Twitter. The Twitter. I don't know if you saw this notion. Crazy. I'm trying.
That's hilarious.
There was some crazy shit going down over the weekend. Every time we're like, okay, this is chill, we move. Did you see this? And what Craig is pulling up, I'd say the biggest L in all of this is considerably Drake's lies being exposed by what everyone on the internet called the Riddler, aka the Mole. So on the night of May 10th, a new account popped up on Twitter, Ebony Prince 2K24, with ominous tweets, and more importantly, this video with all of the goods from 616 in LA, right? And then Meet the Grants.
Correct.
So someone else who's not Kendrick is in possession of these items that Drake said in the Heart Part 6 that he planted and gave to Kendrick. What this tweet proved is that he left this behind in the end. And because Twitter's amazing, they were able to, and all the internet sleuths, honestly, like the Kendrick subreddit, incredible, insane. But basically what this proves is what we knew. Like when Drake said, like, I planted that stuff. Yeah, I'm sure you'll take it. He even mentioned the Maybach glove too. That's why you know that when he was talking about it, it wasn't just about the feeding the misinformation about his daughter. It was also this. So the fact that someone else has this stuff just proves that in the end, there are legit items that belong to Drake that were either left behind or stolen, but seems like left behind.
Could you explain what the left behind part? Just because I think that's context of
so I want to go through his tweets. So I'm going to get you over to the thing and go to the bottom, and then I'll just start.
Go to his page, go to his actual Twitter.
Ebony Princes, and then you have to scroll down because he started tweeting like crazy. He went ham, but like we won't go through all of them. I just want to go through the key ones.
Look at all this shit. Fuck.
So when this came up, we're like, what? Like, what are you doing with the items? It doesn't make any sense because Drake said that he planted them, and that they left them. I don't know if you remember that he said they left them with Dennis Graham, so Drake's father.
And then he lost the suitcase, or had a suitcase.
No, it got stolen off of him at an airport. But this guy, and this is so smart that he did that, he put the newspaper article in there to say, like, this is May 8th or May 10th, whatever date was on the article, to show you that I have these items. Holt Renfrew, obviously the Canadian brand. So he had the Holt Renfrew. He has that, which I believe this ring is for the Tupac ring that he has.
Yeah.
Which is another weird thing he keeps doing. I don't know why he keeps buying people's jewelry and then kind of flaunting it and almost like I stole it, but it's like you purchased them for a lot of money. I don't understand that.
Very odd.
But this man was showcasing the items in his possession and threatening Drake. And what's important here is he's saying, basically, I'm not a liar and I'm not a thief. So you and academics have until what would be Monday, yesterday, to retract your claims of theft. So Monday, May 13th, or my attorney and I will exhaust every legal option available. So when I first saw this, my thought was, oh shit. So maybe because Drake in The Heart Part 6 said, oh, we planted that, that's a mole. If he was supposed to get money from Kendrick, he didn't end up getting money because it would be assumed that, oh, you lied to me and you're working with Drake in the end and you basically fed me fake information. So this was his way of clearing his name. But it also means technically he's not like a mole from OVO. So what we do know about this gentleman is that, and this, sorry, if you keep scrolling or up, I guess you have to go.
Yep.
If you look at this here, it's a tweet that's on May 10th. And he said, I hope that this photo to Drake will jog your memory as to where you discarded those items. The issue in the photo should also jog your memory. Jimmy Brooks would not have been proud of you that night. So in the image, it is a screen grab of a security camera that's dated on, I think the date was not correct in the end because it ended up being July is when this was happening. But basically it's the lobby. Of course, the internet matched the tiles of the lobby to the tiles of the New York hotel where it was, which is
the Mark Hotel in New York.
The Mark Hotel. The internet's amazing. It's just fantastic what they're able to do. That's why I just come back to it. I'm like, oh, they'll all figure it out. I'm not going to look at anything. I'll just come back in an hour and somebody.
All the detectives.
Exactly. And there are different angles of this on other people's, like, say, paparazzi type thing that just does show this is Drake's entourage. So that gentleman in the hoodie specifically, I believe, was Chubbs. And then the gentleman in the wheelchair, we'll say, but it's a little bit more of a gear, like, is Christopher Alvarez, who's a journalist.
Yeah, right.
Yes. So, like, he's been seen with, like, a bunch of dudes. I think, like, Khaled, maybe Rick Ross, things like that. So he's, like, pretty well known. But because it said Jimmy Brooks would not have been proud of you that night, it released, like, some really intense conspiracy theories that came through. So theories about a conspiracy to cover something up. So legitimately. And basically they thought maybe he had attacked Christopher or done something. And that's why he would not have been proud.
Can you say who Jimmy Brooks is? Because you only told me this the other day.
Jimmy Brooks is... I had to look it up too because I never watched Degrassi. Jimmy Brooks is the character that Drake played on Degrassi, who was famously in the wheelchair. So because he said Jimmy Brooks would not have been proud, everybody's like, oh, wheelchair of that. Then they started being like, people were invested at the beginning of 616 in LA. There's like, before the song starts, there's like the sound in the beginning. And then people said it sounded like a respirator, and Christopher Alvarez is on a respirator. So maybe in the end, it has to do with that. There was so much going on, nurses involved, doctors coming in, people being like, yeah, I think that's it. All of this, I'll speed through this all to say, though, it was disproven by Christopher Alvarez yesterday. So he came out and he said that, yes, I was with Drake this night. I cannot speak to Drake's character, but we had a good time and he didn't do anything to me. We just listened to music.
Okay.
Right. Interesting. Fuck.
But you will see this gentleman, Ebony Prince, what we can assume based on what he said, which is like, you've discarded a lot of things in your hotels, blah, 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 was that he's a security guard that worked at the hotel. There was some type of altercation. There is a police report that was made. He said, you've had many things discarded on your behalf over the years. I wonder if you can remember them all. You're blocking my money with your lies, so you have forced me to get it another way. It basically seems as if he was intending in the end to sell these items. and was not able to sell them because of what Drake had said in the music. Because in the end, if they're stolen items, people don't want it. It's very different than if it's left behind. That's the general thought and consensus as to what this is. But in the end, it was just really crazy because you think everything's done. And then on the weekend, this guy, and that's why we kept calling him the Riddler, because he's speaking in random, like cryptic, like, remember when this and this? And, ooh, where were you on this time? And all this stuff. So in the end, they were able to track him down. People were trying to pay him like $8 million in like Bitcoin and stuff like that to try to get information about like who he is and what he knew. And it's still kind of pending. He's disappeared since then. But I think the biggest part and the most important part of this is that Drake left those items behind. He did not plant them with a mole in the hopes of deceiving Kendrick, which means that whole song is a lie, which was obvious because we all said, like, why didn't you vlog it? You love making content. You love doing stuff. You're so petty. If you were doing this whole elaborate scheme, wouldn't you have vlogged it or done something, captured it, so that way you could be like, haha, Kendrick, like you would have made a music video better than the Family Matters music video to show you deceiving Kendrick all this time. Like that would be a thing. Didn't happen, and we know why, which also means, and this, let me just make sure, some colleagues got fired, so the guy was mad about that, kept the items. He also had jewels, which I was wondering, in one point in I think in 616 in LA, Kendrick said something like, because he kept trying to give hints, he said something about like find the jewels like Cash Doll. And I wonder if that had something to do with it, because this guy had a bunch of jewelry for Drake too. So I don't know if Kendrick was trying to give him a hint as to where he got all the stuff from for the covers, but he said that. And then shortly after this guy tweeted, like almost immediately after, if you could go to the other tweet in the document there.
I can, yes.
Right after, it's like the next link that will follow about Top Dog.
Got it. So
shortly after, the Ebony Prince came out, then Top Dog tweeted anyways, the battle's over. It's a win. I thought it was interesting, but like a win for the culture while keeping it all on wax, especially when these publications try to make it something else. We proved them wrong. That's a victory within itself. On another note, it's time to wrap up this TDE 20-year anniversary compilation. So their team, you could say, called it. And I actually don't know, so maybe one of you all know. So Kendrick is independent now, but is he just still with TDE as like a affiliate, or what's the deal with that?
Well, I mean, Ali is still mixing his stuff, and he's on that. So there's got to be some sort of maybe distribution or like some, maybe, I don't know.
Just like family would be my guess. Like it's like
still love, even though he's independent away from the big labels, but there's obviously still a love. And
he would pop up. Obviously, you can't do a TDE 20-year celebration without Kendrick. So
of course,
yeah. Okay, So that's why it feels like, okay, Top Dog, speak on the behalf of that, and it seems like it's ended. But it's on top of all the things, I think, to be found out that you also lied about this because you haven't come out to say otherwise. It's like, what is everything that you're doing with this Drake? It's very interesting.
Yes.
It also shows why you should treat people well, because the guy seemed really mad because he said Drake got 2 people fired that day, like 2 people lost their job that day as a result of like complaints that Drake made.
Wow.
Well, the guy, even in his things, were probably like, that's why you should treat people like good. And like the lesson was kind of like, are you potentially a terrible person? Because this is why everyone comes out of the woodwork, and the immediate opportunity to like shame you, bash you, do something to hurt you, if they like jumping at this opportunity. Because like if I worked at a hotel and a celebrity left something behind, I wouldn't take this stuff and go.
Absolutely not. The fuck?
I wouldn't be like inserting myself into some beef to try to like hurt the celebrity further or anything like that. So that's something to say about his character again. And then I would say one of the other biggest L, sorry. Okay, so one of the other ones, we know Academics, biggest Drake stan of all time. Only Dan, only second to Dan, basically. A Drake stan. He, if you want to click that, I can't even remember what.
I got it.
That was probably.
I got it here.
Okay, perfect. So basically, I just watched the live, but I'm pulling up the tweet. But Drake originally told Academics that the MTG artwork was from items that were stolen from his father, that they planted, all of that. And then Academics 2 days ago on a live confirmed that the items were actually Drake. So he basically said like, yeah, I think it's pretty clear that Drake, definitely like left those behind, and yeah, they were lost. And yeah, I guess he's probably on Ozempic too. And don't come for me, Riddler. And don't try to fuck with me, Riddler. Wow. And like, I'll sue you, all this shit, keep my name out your mouth. And just is completely like kind of detached from he's like, I don't know what Drake's doing, and I can't say everything that Drake's got going on. Oh, maybe, let me see this video here. Because then what's this here's Academics claiming the items were Drake's dad. Someone is definitely compromised. If you want to play the video, you can. You guys don't often play
Which
stuff.
one, this one?
Yeah,
we can. Okay.
This will I just feel like for him to have been like the spokesperson and like, just thinking about Maul. Sorry, this is a whole other conversation. But like Maul,
so whack.
Angry red blue veins in the face, yelling in defense of Drake so aggressively. And Academics at the same time.
Going off.
He looks crazy. He looked crazy there, but he looks even crazier now. Because I was like, imagine standing and writing for someone so hard that's not like your mom or something. I mean, it's not your family. Like, you don't know Drake like that. You can't vouch for Drake like that, Like, stop it. And these guys did, and I think, it was proven. But yes, if you like to run the
common sense is out the window. Look at the tweet below the video. Are you fucked?
Oh, it's apparently
what the hell is that?
The hotel is apparently known for Epstein behavior.
That's insane.
So that's a whole other thing that we have not investigated in, but it feels on brand, honestly.
Good, dude.
Allegedly on brand. But yes, so he went from saying that to, clearly Drake lost those items, and
that's a weird little back.
Yeah. But it's just because it is what it is. So I feel like even he was lied to by Drake, and then obviously that's where you end up saying lies. And then to end it all off in terms of the final L, I would say, is Drake posting a story saying, "Good times. Summer vibes up next."
Yeah, that's weird.
Bro, what?
Good times? You got rinsed and everyone knows it. You're still getting clowned. Good times?
What are you talking about?
Aubrey. Come on. Bradley says to Aubrey that you got something wrong.
You need to relax, old fella.
Oh, sorry. The reason I put this in there was just like, I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he acts up. And I felt like Drake writing that was literally this Kendrick line again. Because he's just like, summer vibes up next. So my question to you all is, how do you perceive Drake now?
How do you recover from that and just go back to summer hits and he can't make the soundtrack to our life now. He just got rinsed.
That's it. I feel like Drake is behaving. I'm going to have to call he's behaving like Justin Trudeau. If you've ever seen Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, who we don't talk about politics here, but fuck him. He's in question time in Canadian Parliament. People are asking him direct questions, and he's like, Canadians want safe. Like, he's just making things up. And
Delirious.
Bro, it is like, the gaslighting is so crazy how he just talks around stuff and then acts like he's answering the questions. And I feel like Drake's doing a little bit of that right now. He knows, everything that Tiff just put forward. He lied about the Hot Part 6.
He lied about his surgery. You lied about sorry.
But did he not?
Yeah. Fuck.
He lied about he shut on Rick Ross for using Ozempic. Now it's proven that it was his. It's close to proven as possible.
Well, it's you use it too, bro. So why are you
shut the fuck up
when you use it too? Are you out of what's going on?
Imagine he was probably back against the wall and was like, what do I do? I'm just going to say I planted it, not like completely misremembering that the internet's a thing and that people are crazy and they're bored and they figure things out. It's fucking crazy. And of course they're going to, because it's the biggest thing in the world. So he fucked up in the way, like he tried to lie and go around things like a politician, but the culture won't easily forget as opposed to the general public when a politician lies, because that happens every 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the death knell for Drake. I feel like, could we, like Noshi said, I don't think I could take his music seriously. It'll take a little bit. I felt that way about Cole for a bit after the apology, but in hindsight, it actually wasn't that bad.
He's coming out Millhouse right now, dude. He's pumped.
He did the right thing in hindsight, because it was like, let's not get involved with Kendrick.
Maybe he knew the guy had like such a crazy, like everyone had so much ammo in the clip. He must have known something.
I heard that he's like,
oh no, I'm gonna just take it easy.
Schoolboy told him. Schoolboy apparently reached out to Cole and was like, bro, I'm telling you, just graciously bow out.
I rate Schoolboy heavy, especially for that. Yeah, because I mean, I like Schoolboy in general as a person. I mean, his music's okay, but like, I think he's a good cunt. But like, if him and Cole are tight like that and he gave him a heads up, that's fucking gangster, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Salute to Q.
It's very difficult to take Drake seriously now, and to see what happens moving forward. I think he's oversaturated and now way more embarrassed than he had been with Pusha T. So he's going the route of like, let's just pretend like, hey, that was fun. Okay, good game, guys.
Yeah, word.
Yeah, you can't be like GG, bro.
No,
it's
exactly.
Not, you were shamed, and it was proven that you lied, and like, this is, you have to do something. But even the guy he was in is that Elliot Wilson? What's that guy?
Elliot Wilson from Rap Radar. Yeah.
Rap Radar that man sat in your living room and interviewed you, and then just like chat on you on Twitter daily. Like everybody, your peers, everyone. You can't just be like, oh, that was fun. Like, okay.
And it's not a pylon for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. Again.
Yeah, 20 versus 1, bro. Like, that's not normal.
But why? This is what we're saying, though. It's
a reason. Yeah, you're right.
Why?
There's always a reason.
And this is only touched on just the L's, not why he's a terrible person, which is the more interesting part of the conversation.
It's all going to come to light, dude. Maybe his summer is fucked.
Well, I guess we're going to find out. Tiff, I guess, should I stop sharing?
You can stop sharing. I'm actually curious. How long after... Because the Pusha T thing was really embarrassing. Maybe I can find it. I wonder how long till he released something after story of
Adidon. My guess, what was that? 2018, I think.
Yeah.
What is?
I reckon 2018 he would have. What did he do in 2018?
Oh, Scorpion. Oh, pretty soon after. So,
that was a great album, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't mind it. I still spin it back. Got some bangers on there.
So, I mean, look, he could just, the thing is, one thing in his favor is the goldfish memory of the general public. It's just, though, as we've sort of touched on earlier, the way the records that Not Like Us broke, the infectiousness of BBL Drizzy and the cleverness of that whole thing.
Not going to go away in 2 weeks.
It's I think that's going to linger for a lot longer than, like, the You Are Hiding a Child was pretty spectacular.
Yes.
Yeah. But, like, this was a death, like you said, Tiff, like a death by 1,000 cuts, systemic dismantling of a human in such an insane way that, like, it's very difficult for, like, I feel like this may actually have altered the public's perception of the man behind the music. That's the one thing as well. They might not fuck with Drake or Aubrey, but they still might like Drake, as in, he puts out a summer banger, you got to not bop to it. Like, people are fickle too, and not everyone is taking sides. And, even I would. It's not about taking sides as much as who legitimately won, and we're analyzing why.
But I kind of got the ick, as the Gen Z says a little bit right now, and the reason is it's just like a thing where I was loving Love by Diddy, for example. It became my Spotify Wrapped, in my top Spotify Wrapped.
Bops, yeah.
And then afterwards found out that not found out, but it was proven because it was kind of clear that something was wrong with him. It's almost like there's a lot of consistencies, it feels like, or parallels between Diddy and Drake in a little bit, where it's like you keep hearing things around the person that are very consistent, and then it's just a matter of time. The same as R. Kelly. In the end, you keep hearing things and you're hearing things. He's likening himself to Michael Jackson. Enough said in this category, right? And it becomes a time where you can't listen to someone anymore because there does become, it's hard to separate. Like, I try my best to separate always in the end. But when you're like vile and you're doing really nasty stuff, it bleeds into the music even. And I just can't even, I don't listen to R. Kelly anymore.
Master Tarnish, yeah. He can't, no, he's been cancelled. You can't have,
gross.
Yes, yeah, gross. Yeah, it's definitely too far gone.
He might get to that.
I mean, he could if they prove, if more things come out, because right now it's, you're going to go into it. It's like a little bit, it's a bit of conjecture and hearsay but we don't know if he acted on SA, as they call it, with underage girls. Like, I don't know if he actually did anything as opposed to inappropriately be around them at an almost R. Kelly level.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know yet. I hope not.
I fucking hope not. But anyways,
we don't know yet. There's no reason to believe that yet either. Like, there's no evidence or anything pointing to that, but it's completely inappropriate. So we can start with that if we want. I mean, if we just want to go in now to
start from the. Do you want to start from the beginning? Start from the top because you've got it in a nice little order here.
Okay, so my essay, my thesis. Is Drake a terrible person?
Dun, dun, again, dun.
Kendrick really specifically was clean and, wanted us to make sure that we heard, you must be a terrible person. Everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve it. So let's talk about a few categories here. Fatherhood, right? Being a father and a good father makes you a good man. Easy. We don't really need to dive into that. He hit a child, right? So there's already one weird thing about that, is that we know that there was a point in time where Drake was hiding his child. And of course he said, I wasn't hiding his son from the world, but the world from his son. Sure. But it did feel like there was embarrassment on his part because he fathered a baby with like a adult film star, Sophie, and was trying to kind of like keep it pushed down. And then there's also this thing of, do cycles repeat itself where you have a deadbeat or shit dad and you end up becoming a shit dad too. But an interesting note on that is Dennis has also, his father, come out and said, like, Drake makes it seem like I wasn't there at all, but I was actually. So it's either Dennis is a shit dad or Dennis was around and you're using Dennis as a shit dad to protect, perhaps feed an unfortunate narrative, which is like, in the Black culture, maybe the father's not in the home, I'm in the same vibe as you all type of thing, which is like a whole other conversation, which is more insidious and gross. But on that, and if you would like to open this Reddit thread.
Sure. The Reddit thread. Oh, there's a couple of other different things, but I guess it's whatever.
It's fine. Yeah.
This one. Okay.
I also like to be mindful of time. There is an opportunity here. Now, this Reddit thread is called Baby Mama Number 3, but I actually think it should be called Baby Mama Number 2 because we still don't even know about the second mother or anything like that. But there is a person in here, shout out to Atalasia in the Kendrick Lamar Reddit thread, who said they were obsessing over 616 in LA. And like they just had to like keep diving into it. And then they said there was this post of academics reading through Drake's alleged. So Drake has had other women come out and say that he has fathered their child. And this woman is specifically Layla Lace. And that's why now thinking of that, the 616 in LA is also very interesting because there might be, Kendrick loves his 8 million 17 entendres. Is there something there that we don't even really realize?
Probably the time of a childbirth.
Exactly. Childbirth or just law for Layla Lace. Who knows? Like, we don't know. And that could even be a childbirth time. Who knows?
Fuck.
Right? Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
My head just exploded with that one. I was like, wait.
Yeah. It's like, whoa.
So, and then there is this clip of academics. We don't have to watch it, but basically he's reading through the Layla Lace lawsuit against Drake. And while he's reading it, he gets a text message and stops reading and then just cuts his stream off.
Interesting.
And that's it.
I heard about that, but didn't watch it.
And then never refers back to it. Okay. So Layla Lace claimed that Drake had impregnated her while she was on tour in the UK in 2017. So this is like after Views, and he's doing that whole tour. It was like also the Boy Meets World tour going on. Layla then had receipts to say that they were actually talking, and it was clear that they were talking. And according to her, she ended up getting pregnant, and she reached out to Drake with her pregnancy, and then he ghosted her. She even posted about BBL Drizzy and that too, which I thought was hilarious. That awesome. It's funny. Eventually, Drake would go to settle out of court with her, which is like, why are you settling out of court if you're not what does that have to do with anything? Also, $350K would make sense if they're in the UK, because that would probably amount to about 500,000 US. So maybe it's 350 pounds. Right. That would align with 500K, which would make sense why Kendrick mentions, have you ever had to pay 500K for a case? So that in 616 in LA, he said something like that. Right?
Damn.
And then even more so, this person, shout out to them, was trying to find out more about Layla Lace as they were going down in this rabbit hole. But she doesn't really use that name anymore, and she uses her maiden name or her real name, which is Laquana Morris. And she did a memoir. And in that memoir, she has a chapter called Mother of a Son. And in it, she wrote, "It saddens me to know that certain celebrities and public figures are walking around and telling the world that they never had a dad or father figure and making it up just to sound relatable to an average minority kid. Did they ever stop and think, though, that it's children out here desperately hoping for that?" Oh, yeah, I forgot. Her writing's terrible, by the way. So actually in pain, hurting from it. So when I hear that people can be so evil to play off on something like that, it just makes me sick to my stomach. It's one thing being a voice and bringing light to a situation, but it's another thing where you're pretending like you're hurting from it too. My son stay asking me, am I going to get a boyfriend so he can have a dad to play with him? My response is always, though, it will come. Don't worry. It just has to be the right person, though. I don't want someone coming into our life and hurting us. So this person says, I'm no Pulitzer Prize reader, but it sounds like to me that she's alluding to a celebrity for their own fatherless childhood and then using that pain to connect and relate to other discarded minority children. And she can't stomach the idea that there are people out there who don't claim. We already know Drake potentially has an issue with claiming things, apparently.
Do we ever?
According to me. And using it for their personal gain. All of this is available. There are links to articles. Everything's in there. You can just go research it. So it's out there and available. And then that suddenly the line for Meet the Grams hits different when he says, yeah, he's a hit maker, songwriter, superstar, right? And a fucking deadbeat dad that should never say more life, Meet the Grams. So
insane. To end a song like that.
So gangster, bro. It's so good.
It's so like good. Nail in the fucking head, dog.
Yeah.
Bop in the face.
So in the end, there could potentially be, and then if there is a daughter, then there would be another one. This could be the third one. But it would be said then there could be this potential that Drake's out there hiding children and just trying to go on and live his life, which would make you, a terrible person.
That's fucking.
I love that.
Way to wrap it up, dude.
Oh, there's still more. This is just the fatherhood.
Way to circle back to the original title.
There's a quote here that I think is worth doing. Also from Meet the Grahams. You lied about your son. You lied about your daughter. Huh? You lied about the mother kids is out there hoping that you come.
Yeah.
So we
don't know how much Kendrick knows.
And I feel like this is his thing where he was just Mr. Mysterious he's the fucking Riddler, really.
Yeah. Fuck. Right? Yeah. That's a theory too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Even Jordan got kids out there, doesn't even fucking want to acknowledge. I saw that.
Yeah. It's not far-fetched at all to think that that's a possibility. So anyways, all alleged, but just saying.
Okay.
Now the other thing, to me the most disgusting thing is the grooming of underage children. And I wouldn't even call them allegations as much.
Because
I don't think there is any circumstance that an older man or an adult who's not related, and even if you're related, needs to. Fine. If you're related and you're at a family event and stuff like that, yes, you can talk to your nieces and nephews and maybe the kids that are at a party. But generally speaking, there's no reason that an adult needs to be in direct communication with underage people, period, at any point of time.
Agreed.
So there are a ton of videos that have come out around this, but the one I want to point to, if you don't mind clicking that source link there, is the one that, yes, please, is the one that's the most, because Millie is saying it with her words, just clearly for all of us, is the friendship that Drake and Millie Bobby Brown have.
This is a link to the Pusha T.
Is that the Stranger Things actress?
Yes. The woman. So Millie Bobby Brown is the young girl, and now she must be in her 20s now. Or
I never knew her real name. That's so weird. But yeah. Sweet.
I can search for that while you're telling us.
Bring up
anything about that Drake and Millie Bobby Brown. Okay. And you want her saying it?
Do you want to play the clip of her saying it?
Yeah, I'll try. I guess if I could.
So you can say Millie Bobby Brown describes relationship with Drake.
I think I found it. It's the one at the award show.
Yes.
Yep. Got it right.
Oh, no, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but just see if it makes sense to you in any way, shape, or form at all.
Okay, hang on. Let me just get that. Okay, here we go. I can.
I think I know what you're talking about. Miss you more.
First of all, if you're
helping her,
a 14-year-old girl with boys,
and also she said they spent like 3 days together in Australia. They had the best time. They went for dinner. Then we went for dinner the other night. And because she's a young girl, she's so excited and talking about it. If there's any chat that you're in, your parents should be in that chat. You should not be texting. And at this time, this is when she is 14 and he's 31. So, yes.
So wild.
I didn't even like talking to people who are under 25. Like, even just, honestly, I'm like, you're annoying and you're stupid and you have nothing to talk about. Unless we're going to talk about something serious like Palestine or something, and you know because you're a well-informed, educated student, like there's nothing that we are going to really be able to talk about. So to be a grown man in a conversation with a 14-year-old going to dinner, doing all these things, completely inappropriate. We saw again the girl who was in high school who said that Drake's a fan of women's basketball when they're in high school. It's girls basketball.
Come on.
Whether or not this is, they said that, his goddaughter is on the same team, but you're not talking to your goddaughter, you're talking to your goddaughter's friend, and you're following your goddaughter's friend.
Yeah.
You do not need to be engaging or interacting. I believe there is, again, I can't even say this is alleged because they're just saying it, and it's just, they're not even realizing that it's a bad thing. And it's in interviews that are like, obviously you look in hindsight, but this is like 2-3 years ago where these things are happening, right? Millie Bobby Brown is ages ago. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As we're seeing over and over here.
So I think time will tell, but it already is not a good look as a grown man to interact with children in that way in any circumstance. And you're either a sicko and not mentally well, or you're a terrible person.
Yes. There was the other one with that Bella Harris girl, if that was her name, where she was 16, he was taking pictures, and as soon as she was 18, he took her out on a date. So it's almost like he'd been talking to her and waiting. That's why it's like, it's hard to know if he would act on these urges or whatever he's having with someone under 18 or whatever the age of consent is in the place where they're at. But it's fucking suspicious as hell, like doing that. And what are you telling a 16-year-old girl? Oh, you're so beautiful. You're going to be great when you're 18.
Not even, I hope not.
What are you saying, Nash? What the fuck are you saying to her, though? Like, what are you?
Yeah,
and then taking her for a date, which means there's romantic inclinations, which means the conversation for 2 years prior had to have included some sort of flirting at the very basic, at the very least, if not, more.
Sexting.
Yeah.
So well, it could be sexting. I mean, what if he's asking 16-year-olds to send? I don't think he'd be.
Oh my god!
I think he'd be that stupid. I hope not. There was another thing. Even the picture that he took of Millie Bobby Brown, and she was like on a balcony smiling, and she was just like, "Oh, Drake took this photo," and I was like, "Why are you on a balcony in the dark in the nighttime?"
Yeah, with Drake.
Like, you can be with your parents at fucking Chuck E. Cheese is where the fuck you should be if you're 13. Okay, wherever 13 and 14-year-olds. The Dave and Buster's thing is just weird. Dave and Buster's like, what are you going there? Apparently he frequents there, and it's interesting. Again, I'm not tying anything.
Dave and Buster's.
I'm not tying anything, but you know, R. Kelly was said to hang out at the mall by the schools and also be at the high schools. You know, like that's just what was known, that Kelly liked being in those areas. So again, not.
And there was multiple Dave and Buster's. There was only one. It came out like, I don't know, late last year or something, and it was like, oh, imagine walking to Dave and Buster's and Drake is DJing, and then there's all these different circumstances with all of these young girls around him while he's at children. So people who don't know, it's like time zone in Australia. It's like a children's like arcade, you know, like shoot games, fucking car games, and shooting
adults,
games,
like kind of adult. It's like where you go when you're like 19 and stuff.
Because you can't. Well, you could go there and drink and stuff, but when you're underage and there's nothing else to do, like that's a cool place to hang out. Yeah. You're playing video games, you could fuck around. So that's where the underage girls be at. And I saw multiple photos of him in different outfits from multiple arcade type places, which means even if he's taking the goddaughter's basketball team or something like that, it's still fucking weird. Like, you can't deny that it's odd. Like, maybe there's no direct proof, which is something Dad would probably say, but like, it's just odd. You have to say R. Kelly hanging out at malls, or, you know, given his stature, like Drake could be anywhere in the world, but he's
be there, be anywhere.
Don't you want to be where?
What are you doing?
It was fucking so strange. So weird.
So next up,
yes,
in terms of the terrible person, failed relationships with women. It's always like a very interesting thing, and I kind of almost feel like it follows the grooming underage children. It doesn't seem like he's able to maintain relationships with women of age. And that's a bit bizarre too. So like, he has fumbled some very high profile relationships that he has. And I'm just going to assume he fumbled it because it looked like Rihanna was sick of that man. But for example, you know, he had a relationship with Rihanna. He had a relationship with Serena. It ended publicly, and it doesn't end in a way based on his music that looks like it's beautiful, mutual, and respectful in any capacity. So in both instances, he has post-breakup made references to them in his music in ways that are disrespectful. He said something about the way Rihanna's the baddest bitch, period, right? Period.
Yeah, he said like her pussy was whack or something.
And he said like why are you even saying that to this?
Wow.
This woman that everybody respect, like, where are you trying to get points for that? You sound bitter. You always sound bitter. So even just in terms of being a good human being, speaking about someone that you dated who also was a public figure on top of it, but someone that you dated on a public forum on wax for something that's sealed, and talking shit about them is not a good look. And talking shit about the way they fuck, well, you're obviously mad because she's dating an old peer of yours, is what that would make sense. And then again, talk shit about Serena. Talk shit about Serena's husband. I don't know if he talked shit about Serena directly. I have to go back and I don't remember. But because I feel like that's why Kendrick said you better not talk shit about Serena, because I feel like he hasn't.
Because she's from Compton too.
Yeah. But he did talk shit about Serena's husband, calling her like a fan. And it's like, yeah, you should be a fan of the person that you're married to. Like, you would hope that you like them and that you're their biggest fan. And she is like one of the greatest tennis players of all time, greatest athletes of all time. And again, rude and disrespectful when it comes to those relationships. He also didn't speak well about her in the Chris Brown situation. He's spoken poorly about, I know he didn't date Megan Thee Stallion, but he also, I felt like, inserted himself in that conversation in a very weird way that he didn't need to be there when it comes to something that's abuse between two individuals. Like, why to come in here and start saying like, he like, stop believing Meg, calling the Stallion a liar, all these types of things, you know? It just feels like women don't fuck with him. So, and maybe consistently, and Kendrick did say something again to the fact that like, we hate the women. He said something like, we hate the women you're with because they think they're like real women and they're not. So it's almost like he can only get a version of a woman who's not a true one that's respectful.
Respected.
Again, having a hard time finding good women at your stature, not just like being a regular person, but at your stature means there's likely it's a you issue and a you problem and not a woman problem.
What's the common denominator?
Again, Sometimes you got to look around the room and see, are they all terrible people or am I a terrible person?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, this one's very obvious. This is what made me start wondering if Drake was a bad person or a terrible person, actually, was that it was just too many people beefing with him. I'm like, comes a time where it's not, this is what I was trying to tell Dan. I'm like, it can't be jealousy and everyone is jealous of you. It has to, because Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan, and we all respect and love Michael Jordan, and his peers, he's revered among his peers. Same as like a Kobe Bryant or a Tiger Woods. Even no matter what Tiger Woods even did or whatever any of them do on the side, you're still revered amongst your peers, and they will say you're amazing. No one's ever like, fuck Michael Jordan, he can barely fucking play or anything like that. Doesn't make it. So I can't see that they're like, man, Drake's such a good rapper, fuck that guy. Like, what are they jealous of? That like. There's always going to be someone who has more money, but they all have money and fame in their own right. So for you to have beef with Lil Wayne because you fucked his ex-girlfriend while he was in jail, Future and Metro Booming, they both say that they have several issues with you. The way that you collaborate, your business dealings, issues with women. For Kendrick, obviously, we don't even need to go there. Like, he just hates you and really speaks to your character flaws. Kanye has talked about Drake several times, and they're also people who work together. I remember even a video of Kanye where he was kind of like walking through the street and just being like, stop talking about Kim and my wife and stop like inserting yourself and doing these subtweets about like what you're doing. Because he did kind of say like something where it's kind of like, oh, I left my house and I got to Kim's house. He did say something like that.
It was in Sicko Mode. He gave the directions from his house to Kim's house.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Shit like this. And then The Weeknd, supposed to be your collaborator. You're from Toronto. First of all, no one from Toronto, which also probably is a big problem too, really even stood up for Drake. I don't even feel like anyone really even stood up for Drake except like The Game and 50 Cent.
You're right.
Yeah. 50 Cent like posted.
And The Game did a diss track to Rick Ross, which was kind of.
I saw that. I guess that's the on time. You're right. Okay.
But like, it's like the stub.
So weird. It's so late in the piece. It's like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why?
Where does this
come from?
Okay.
So that part, you know what I'm saying? No one stood up for you, but all of a sudden, everybody, Lil Wayne, Future, Kendrick, Kanye, The Weeknd, Rick Ross, they can all easily come together in one shot ASAP and just come at you. Obviously, your peers hate you, and they would hate you because you're likely a terrible person.
Dan strictly thinks it's jealousy. Like I think you said last time.
It's not possible because we respect greats. It's amazing when someone's like stands out. Like that's why Kendrick has this respect and love because people obviously realize that
they're great in every category. They're actually, yeah, you're right. They're a good person. They have good traits. They give back. They have that energy exchange with every universe and everything's good.
There has to be something in there. It just doesn't make sense that everyone's a hater and everyone has problems. Like it's just we have to just be objective. It doesn't make any sense. So, and then there was a document that came out, basically the blind files. In the end, I don't have confirmation of whether or not this was truth, but it was 22 pages long. It was pretty crazy. Craig and I were reading some of it, and it was basically blind items written by industry insiders. A lot of them were lawyers. And they all had just negative, terrible things to say about Drake and all these instances that they had noted down and stated, like on this date, Drake was involved with this woman. We know that this and this, she appeared to be underage. Just things like this that just kept going list after list after list. They talked about the X. They talked about the PDF file ring. The UK involvement thing, all of these
bringing this up
listed out as part of this file, which how can so many people come together unless it's all fake? So that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
22 pages.
Fuck.
Of all just say you pulled one if you wanted to.
I was the very first one. Yeah. Like and the way they've got it written so that like, and I had to, in the tweet, they've got like a key. It's in like who did what. So the foreign-born A-list singer-rapper is Drake. So for example, it says the foreign-born A-list singer-rapper was told by multiple people yesterday that if he wanted to have someone killed, they would do it. Our A-lister has firmly said no, that he knows other ways to get back at people. And this was posted by an entertainment lawyer. Then it's got links. If I just do a random scroll down. Another one. Why is a Canadian rapper tied to so many people who have been accused of Harvey Weinstein crimes? There is the not nice person, which is Barker, who intimidated one of his victims into withdrawing her claims. There is the Porter Puppy, which must be
His former Bird boss.
Oh, Dutchavelli. Oh, I'm going to talk. That's a whole nother thing. And then, former Bird boss, so Birdman. The Butterfly rapper, and Butterfly rapper must be game because he has a butterfly on his face, maybe. Doesn't actually say here. Knows all about it and is getting ready to expose him. That's why he's scared to respond. So like shit like that. Like it's vague. There's no.
Oh no, Butterfly, Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick.
Oh, Kendrick. Okay, so this other cat, Dutchavelli, his sister Stefflon Don, one of the I believe she's a British dancehall artist, and he might be a rapper. And he's apparently there's a video I saw. And I don't know how much you can even say on this with YouTube not doing, but there was a dog. He's like him lying on his stomach, and the dog was nyamming pon his body. And he was like, as in like he does things with dogs and does things with getting men to shit on him or something like that. I saw.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Pretty fucking wild. I didn't want to go to. I was like, this is all too much, man. It's starting to make me feel sick. I'm like, I'm not trying to.
Look at this. Like someone wrote in Wednesday, September 19, 2018, we need to talk about Drake texting 14-year-old Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love an unexpected celebrity relationship? But it's like they're saying, he helps with boys. Oh, someone wrote out the whole Emmy carpet interview. Good. So they've been writing these down and these points, apparently. It looks like since 2018.
And he hasn't told his side of the story.
And you just say like, oh, whatever, don't worry about it. It's inappropriate.
It's so deeply inappropriate.
I don't know what this is about.
This has got the name of the person who said it, Elizabeth.
Oh, okay. So some people actually put their name down. So a lot of people just like entertainment lawyer.
Lipstick Alley, gang.
Yeah. See, Bellis Harris, which is Jimmy Jam's daughter. All of these are being listed in documents. It's just too many. If this is just individual people, as what this document states, coming out to say that about you. None of us right now could say that there are a bunch of people who'd be able to write a bunch of shit down about us and tell us that we're terrible people. I feel very confident that I have not fucked. I can't even say that I could think of that I fucked one person over, but maybe I did and didn't realize. But that would be one person. I could never leave a trail like this, which means there has to be something about you.
That says it all.
It's just too much.
It just keeps going.
Yeah.
The underage girl at the concert where he kissed her 3 times. It was creepy. Billie Eilish. Looks like he's texting Billie Eilish when she was 17. And like you said earlier, Tiff, this is not, most of this isn't like hyperbole. This is the girls telling on themselves, not realizing that it's a bad thing, like you said. Mm-hmm. So it's like that's the one downside, I guess, for these PDF files, folks. That the people that they're messing with don't have the capacity to understand that they shouldn't be in these situations and then go say something and then boom, boom, here we are.
Yeah.
This is pretty crazy. And this just keeps going. It just keeps fucking going.
About the shell companies and his various companies, but those are just tax benefits. So that's what I assume, unless he's doing something weird with them. But you're allowed to have multiple businesses. As someone who has a lot of money, you need to.
Oh, the actual name of the company is Silence Policy LLC. I thought they were joking.
That's weird.
That's pretty hectic.
But hopefully that doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So yes, again, and then finally, which I kind of mentioned when I was talking about the peers and nobody from Toronto supporting him, he has either an inability or just not wanting to, and you all have talked about this before too, grow artists. It's like he takes them on and tries to siphon them in a way, siphon their power or something.
And their cultural relevancy. Yeah,
and then just use that for his own music. If The Weeknd The Weeknd would not be The Weeknd if he had signed to OVO Sound. There's no question.
Yeah, no way.
Look where he is without Drake over him.
Yeah.
So he does not support or promote his signees. And this is why they often are stagnant in the industry. And I think that's made it very selfish and it's against him, especially now, because then he would have had a larger Toronto base of really talented individuals who could have backed him up in a situation like this. But there's nobody, because you don't put anyone on ever. You just randomly choose to put weirdos on when it feels like he just does it for fun randomly. He'll put a weird, some random or weirdo on. And not someone who could potentially outshine him, seems like his goal. You would just kind of put on and address and the 4 Bats, for example. He's not that amazing for you to be drooling over. anymore. We just listened to this album. It's okay. But like things like this, you know, it just feels like you with all your privilege and power and success and funds should be able to have an artist pop the fuck off. There's no way. There's just no way, especially when we know a lot of this is just money anyways, right? So if someone has decent enough music, the money machine will do the rest of it. So the fact that he's unable to do that as well, I feel like speaks to also his selfishness, which again, doesn't make him a good person, which makes him a terrible person.
A terrible person. You're right. Why didn't Division like tweet about it or stand up? And like nobody from his camp that I'm aware of was like tweeting in his defense. Like I know,
Andrina,
pardon?
PND.
Yep. Even like back in the day, like Andrina, like who we know, like I didn't see her post about that. Card now knows him. Like all these people who from Toronto to like represent for him and for the scene there, nobody is standing up for him at all. I didn't really think about that, and that's really telling. The only people I saw were fans. There was no like industry artist support, the people that he's worked with. Yeah. So I don't think he fucks everybody over, but I think he's fucked more people over than the average person.
To not get anything back.
Yeah. And this is where it comes back to. So with that, does that bring us to the end of the essay and the conclusion there?
It's actually right at 1:30. Yes.
Yeah.
This is my conclusion as to why I believe it's very likely that, unfortunately, Drake is a terrible person.
I think I'd want to qualify here as well that nobody is taking really any pleasure in this. No. We don't want him to be a shit cunt, as we say. Like, we want him to be a good dude. We enjoy his music. We've all been listening for a long time. It would be really sad for Canada, for Toronto, for him. Like, obviously, we're sitting here looking at it, being in Canada. Don't you want the Canadian to win the battle? But
sure, I was like, listen, Justin Bieber's like crying on the internet and shit. We need good people. Drake is great. I'm so proud to have Drake as like a representative. Do you know what I mean? Like it's someone who's from your hood, you're proud of it. Anyone who's from like your city, wherever you're from, you're going to be super proud. But it just feels like maybe there's just so much we didn't see. And until now is like when it's like all of this starts coming to light.
Yeah.
And does that person even really deserve your support in a way? It's an interesting thing to consider.
So where do we go from here then? I know we'll wrap it up, but do we think that like we sort of talked about this? Did we talk about it on air? I can't even remember now, but like, do we think that there's like what's Drake's next move? Do we think, Kendrick did say he released 5 and he's got 5 more songs. That Cooley guy said that he had 5 more, that he'd heard 4 of the 5.
Yeah.
Is Kendrick just going to release them anyway? Or is it no fun if it's not back and forth? Like what do you guys think could happen?
Sorry, I was just thinking about how Drake's like, yeah, you probably have more songs, but whatever. I don't even care, man. Like, really,
I'm going on vacation.
He went from like, where's the music? Drop it, Kendrick. What's taking so long? To like, whatever, man. I don't even care if you have more songs. Like, I'm over this. Like, how did we get? It was like in the matter of like 10 days or something like that. It's just so crazy.
Universal Music Group told him to shut up because there's too much money involved with all the back end and all the companies that's tied to. It's $100 million deal. Companies are involved. I heard something that like, NHL, MLB, all these
Nike,
all the crazy companies. There's so much money involved. So they wanted to shut the fuck up ASAP. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think he'll be. I do think he has again. It's another like chink in his armor, but I do think that he'll continue on and be okay. But I do feel
it's gonna take a while.
Yes, and there is going to be this thing where you just can't look at the person the same way when you know certain things. And unfortunately, I don't know I think for a large group, it's like a long-term L that he's taken now because it's like, even with the hiding a child, it was not as deep as this. Because again, is what you said, even though the character assassination in that way, it's so hard to not.
It's like, oh yeah, that's right.
It's a contamination. He's like tainted. Yes, it's like he's tainted now, and I don't know how. Even like I was trying to play one of the songs, and Steve was like, "I can't hear this right now." But
I was like, "I can't do." It was too soon.
It was too soon. I think it was too soon. It just came up in the Spotify playlist. But anyways, yeah, I think it might take a while, but because he's so huge, and there are still so many Dans in the world, I do still think he has the be okay on the youth side, but I do feel like rap fans, he's definitely been he's taken a massive chink of his armor, but like a huge, it's very different now. It's the Pusha was a small chink, like, oh shit, you know, but this is like, damn.
Yeah, it's like Mike Tyson gave him a fucking combo to the absolute, the body and the head top. So he definitely got smushed up good.
Yeah. I also listen to his songs unless it's proven that I'm a little. The one thing is the grooming thing. I just need to read. Cool. I need to. It's like you could just
you
not
can have any other lady. Why are you going for the underage ones, dude? You can get all the. What are you doing? You fucking silly.
That's the hardest part because it's going to be hard to get past that, and it's
just weird.
Because it's like that means all the streams, everything you get, you're using that power to manipulate children potentially.
So fucking weird, bro.
My theory was that he would, like, if you think about it, when you're that rich and like that powerful and that love, like everyone around you is telling you yes all the time, telling you how much of a sick cunt you are, giving you whatever you want. And then all the things that a regular person needs to, you know, say like a regular dude wants to get the best looking girl that they possibly can. And that's going to take work. Like you got to hustle, you're going to be knocked back a million times. Whereas like if you're Drake, you just walk up and you could basically be like, let's go. Mm-hmm. And that probably becomes boring, which is what I've heard a lot of people with money say, that once you just buy all the things, you're like, this is pretty boring because there's no difficulty anymore.
That's
so what's hard is grooming a 16-year-old girl and convincing her to either, you know, wait till she's like fresh 18 or potentially move in sooner.
Yeah,
that's my only theory, that there could be something to it because he's been like popular, I guess, since like we heard him in 08 and So Far Gone was 09. So, and he was on Degrassi before then. So he's probably been gassed, and he was on Degrassi pretty young, must have been like early teens. So he's probably been gassed since he was 15 or some shit like that.
That's insane.
And then, you know, imagine all of that, like what that does to your head. And like, you know, it maybe didn't make him crazy. I feel like Bieber got diddied pretty bad and abused and stuff. That's why he's crying. Whereas like Drake didn't seem to go through that as much, but then he's moving into something that's what's going to get your pulse going. Like you've got a plane, bro. He owns a plane or leases it, whatever. Like, what are you going to do? Sorry, babe.
I said, get a hobby.
I mean, sure, but it doesn't get the heart racing, and that's probably why.
You should go mountain biking, bro. Get Drezzy on the NTB. Get him on a dual sus. Chuck him in the Don Valley, bro.
Yeah, he's around the corner. You should pop
down the street. He actually got a good drop-in spot. Tell you what.
Oh, knock on the door, mate. Yeah, or you kind of got a bike for you.
Straight into Sunnybrook.
Yep. Right. So. Yeah. With that, is there any parting words before we wrap it up? Because this is exactly this episode we really want to drill down, so I think it worked out perfect. So thank you as well, Tiff, as well, for coming on and for. Wait! I know. I just realized.
Yes. Oh, look.
It's a little more fancy, isn't it?
Thank you for having me. I think. Sorry, Dan. Facts are facts. Some things are facts in here, but some things are. And again, I think it's just interesting. I'll be curious to see what happens when Drake releases his next song, which probably is summer. I do think he should take a summer off to be on a whole year break or something, and also just
probably won't
himself. Probably do ayahuasca, release the ego, all these things. Like Kendrick was actually giving some really sound advice in those. Oh. Like therapy is only just the start. He needs to really release the ego. However, I don't know. I think I need to research and understand more the Millie Bobby Brown stuff and all of the young girl stuff, because that's like unforgivable and I wouldn't be able to listen to him in the end. Like it was like he would need to come out and be like, oh my fucking gosh, I'm just like such a fan of Stranger Things. I didn't even think about it. Parents are on the WhatsApp. She just not saying it, you know, all these things for that to be okay, because it's very gross and I don't want to enable that type of behavior through fandom. So yes, that's where I
stand. Up, Tiff.
I love that. That's perfect. So let's bring it on home. Tiff, where can everyone find whatever you would like them to find of you?
What's up, boy? Boy?
What's up, boy? He's like poking me. You can find me at the Movement Fam. It's fine. You don't. No one. It's okay.
It's okay.
Anywhere. Okay. I don't post about hip hop or any of these things, so you're not going to be interested in my stuff. If you like wine and drinks, then you can follow me at Liquid X Happiness. But I don't know how much that crossover happens. So.
Yeah. I respect it. I say, hey, Bear, Hey bear.
Hey, bear.
Hey bear. Do you wanna? Hey bear.
Do you want
Do you? Hey bear.
That was so
Hey bear. Do you want your food? You want your food, buddy?
I don't think I can hear you. I'm actually really surprised. Oh.
Hey bear. Hey bear.
Wait, look up there.
Bear. Barrington. Where's your toy?
Oh my!
Where's your toy?
He's so
Oh my gosh, he's the cutest. If you're listening and not watching, you got to see the pup. You got to jump on YouTube.
on YouTube, Moving Fam on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Barrington, you are a delight.
This is amazing.
He's really steady right now in there. Bear, right?
Hey bear, what's up, bear? What's up, buddy? Hey,
This has to be the clip, dude.
Just this.
Not all the work that Tiff put in to do the other thing. You see Barrington.
I'm kidding.
It's fine. I'm happy with Bear to take.
And you can follow Barrington at Barry the Multi-Poo, B-A-R-R.
There you go. Oh my goodness. Get fucked.
He's like, hey, he was just throwing up a little
Oh, he's
Nosh, where can everyone find you, mate?
at Notion Baby on Instagram and at Notion MTB on YouTube and Instagram. Get a trail up, yeah.
Boom.
CWFOR. Yeah, you know the vibes.
Check that out. CWFOR, Instagram and Twitter. Guys, thank you for watching and listening. If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit that notification bell, both of you.
Ding.
So you know when the new drops. Follow us everywhere at The Moving Fam, at Bad Habits Pod. It's right here on the screen. And give us 5 stars on Spotify and all that bullshit. We'll see you in the next one, yo.
Bye.
Love you all desperately.
Peace, y'all.